Get ready to rock radio.
Now that was a track from the brand new Magnum album, which is out in June, and it's called Into the Valley of the Moonking. We played the lead track, Cry to Yourself, and we're saying a very warm welcome once again to Tony Clarkin. Hello, Tony.
Hello, David.
Oh, nice to talk to you. And I mentioned just before the interview that the last time we spoke was just before the release of Wings of Heaven Live, so that was about a year or so ago, February 2008. Obviously, lots has happened to you, Tony, in the meantime, not least writing and putting together the brand new album. Having listened to it, I have to say that like the last album, it takes a little bit of getting into, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm sure people will say that to you, really. It repays repeated listening, and you can say that about all the best albums, really. When you were starting to plan this new album, I mean, what was guiding you? I mean, do you make the most of the songs you have to hand, or do you start right from scratch? Or, I mean, I suppose the other possibility is to actually recreate a previous album, or at least the atmosphere of a previous album.
No, I never tried to do that.
Uh-huh.
I have to say that I just started writing songs. But it took me, I think it was over a year to write this. That was before we even got into the studio to record it. And I write things at home, record them at home, and get them to a state of a pretty good listening state. I think it was, I had something in the region of about 60 songs altogether, and gradually I just trimmed them down one by one and put them aside, and finally end up with around 15 to 20. And then I go into the studio, put real guitars on, and at this stage it's still all drum samples and bass that I've played and keyboards that I've played. But then I get Bobby to have a listen to everything and to see whether he, see what he makes of it. And then we finally get, I can't remember exactly. It's normally about 60 minutes. 59 minutes, I think it is, something like that, 60 minutes, we need to end up with. So that's your only sort of criteria that you have to have in your head, really. You've got to have, I think it's over 55 minutes, something like that. But then comes the hard bit about writing lyrics and finding subjects to write about. But this time I was looking for a title for the album, and this was to give me the feeling of what the album was going to be like, and that actually came about. We were looking for a title, and every day I went in the studio. I'm saying to Bob, "Oh, it's this, it's that," and every time Bob would say, "Oh yeah, that sounds good," and then I'd change it the day after, and blah 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 blah, and that went on for ages. And Bob saw in one of my books that I'd written about the Moonking. I thought, oh, hey, that's a good title, and sort of I used that then as the title, and that sort of, it gives you a direction, if you like. Not that anyone else in the world could follow, but it helps me. So that's pretty much how it goes, anyway.
So you had the music. It sounds like you had the music. You've answered a question really about whether the music comes first or the words, but it sounds like you had the songs, the music, and then you developed lyrics from that. But were these songs, Tony, that you'd had, I've got this vision of you in your studio, and you've got this stockpile of songs which are sort of mounted up over the years. Many of those would make other people's albums, but you obviously exercise your own sort of critical factor here, and only so many go in, and as you say, there's only 60 minutes to get to get an album out. But was it a bit of a mix of previous songs, or was it?
There was nothing.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. No.
That's incredible.
I've got stuff on my computer that I wrote, I don't know, 5 years ago or something. now I've got stacks of stuff on there, which I hate. I always hate looking back, and which is stupid, really, because there could be some good stuff there. I don't know. Well, I know there's some good stuff there, but it's something I don't like the idea of going back and going, oh, that was. The point that it's there means that I didn't think it was right at the time, so that's why I don't go back, if you like. Probably when I'm 150 years old, I'll do it, but next week, of course.
You like to push on forward, really, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Now, the title track then, from which the album takes its name, the Moonking. Just tell us a little bit about what that's all about.
If you look at the album cover, there's a young boy on there, and the idea was, I got the ideas, I should say, from like Enid Blyton's Secret Seven, Famous Five, and all that sort of stuff. So there's a little kid there with the catapult stuck in his pocket, and this character behind him showing him, this is the way to the Moonking sort of thing. There's the dragon and the tiger, which is heaven and earth, and some of the old sort of the city from Chase the Dragon, and some mice there, but it was more of a feeling that I wanted to get across, and it was the sort of the Moses type figure, if you like. I wanted him to be a benevolent figure rather than a scary figure, showing this young boy. This is like adventure, I suppose.
Yes.
Introducing him to adventure with the Moonking. That's sort of a rough sketch of what it's about.
Oh, it's very interesting. I think that it'll mean more to people when they see the album cover.
Good.
Yeah, and this I've been on to, now whether you believe this actually, you'll probably confirm it. According to Wikipedia, this is your 15th studio album, and that's after 30 years. Now, I get the sense now with the band, Tony, that, and perhaps with you in particular, that you're guided when you make your music. It's music you want to make, not necessarily maybe what the fans or even the critics might expect, but more often than not, it works out. It actually pleases all parties, really.
That's absolutely true. To do music that's any good, I think, this is my theory, of course, but you've got to write it for yourself and write something that you like yourself. And I couldn't possibly know what everybody likes anyway. So, first of all, it's got to please me. Then the next person has got to please is Bob, because he's got to sing them, Then you really hope that everybody else in the band likes it, and then everybody that hears the record likes it. So there's a lot of hope in all this. But the idea is you've got to really be real satisfied yourself, please yourself.
Yes.
And I mean, long time since we ever had a single out or anything like that, so I don't have the pressures of. In fact, SPV, the record company, don't ever push me in the directions of trying to do hit singles and things like that. So that's good.
Oh, that's excellent, isn't it? Yeah. Now, I have to ask this. I mean, I've got this vision that you've got this stuff for, you're in the studio, basically. You've got these tracks laid down. Is there ever a time when, the band or Bob says, I just don't like, that basically rejects a song out of hand? I mean, for whatever reason. Or would you say there's quite a high success rate, really?
Yeah, well, it's I think we come to the decision on whether a song will make it or not onto the album together, really.
Yeah.
It would be various things. Whether it could be something stupid as we're running out of time, and I realise there's like 20 verses I've got to write, so let's put that one aside. Or we'll have done a vocal on, and maybe half completed a song, and I'll say, what do you think, Bob? And he'll go, yeah, it's pretty good. And I'll say, but so-and-so's better, isn't it? And we work it out that way. I think, you see, they choose themselves. It's not really... It becomes apparent which are the best songs, really.
I suppose those that Bob feels comfortable singing, really, isn't it, as well?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously when I write, I know I'm writing for Bob.
Yes.
So I would never do something that I know that he wouldn't like. And as far as melody goes, I try my utmost to get really good melodies for him to sing,
Get ready to rock radio.
When Magnum got back together again in 2001, I mean, I think you were quoted as saying that, you thought really nothing more in terms of music than Magnum, really. That was very much your world. And I think when the band split in the mid-90s, although you had that involvement with Hard Rain and with Bob as well, I mean, you came back to Magnum, and it's really consumed your sort of musical career. But is that right, really? You sort of realise perhaps, 7 or 8 years ago now that Magnum was really what you wanted to do? Yeah,
but again, I still think it was the right thing for me to do to quit at the time.
Yes.
I really do. Because I came back with so much feel for it. It was good for me to not do Magnum, the Brand New Morning album, Princess Alice, and this new album, the Moonking album, I would say my favourite albums, and they're like the new, I wouldn't say the new Magnum, but that they feel like they're connected somehow. And if anyone was to ask me about to listen to Magnum, I'd say, listen to any of these 3 albums, really.
Yes, you're very pleased with that. And as you say, that break obviously did give you that renewed energy, really. Yeah, which is no bad thing. Now, the new album comes out in a variety of formats. I think it's out, actually it comes out in vinyl this time, which is interesting. And considering that Magnum's history has really coincided with, like the 80s period when there was a spate of like picture discs and limited editions and bonus tracks. I mean, that seems a world away now, doesn't it? What with downloads and stuff. But do you hang on to your albums and memorabilia, Tony? Are you a collector?
No, I'm not. I'm the very opposite. I don't have. I have copies of the Moonking. Now, if I had to try and find a Princess Alice copy, or the Wings of Heaven live, I bet you I couldn't find it. I've got sort of copies of Jimi Hendrix and things like that, but the stuff that I actually record, I end up giving it away to people, or somebody always says, oh, can I have that, have you got a copy of, Brand New Morning? Oh, yeah, okay, there you go. And I never have a copy of anything. I'm sure Bob's got millions of them.
Yes.
Once it's done, to me, it's done. And then we tour it, and you refine it even more so when you go on tour, but then certain songs stay in the set. I don't really need the record to be, but it's nice to hear it occasionally. But I'm not the sort of person that sits around listening to myself.
No, and what about collecting those? Because, there was a whole raft of, really quite attractive picture discs, but that doesn't really interest you.
No, there were clocks. I can remember that we got a award, the record company, I don't know where we were now, somewhere like Austria or somewhere, and they gave us vigilante clocks.
Yes.
And various things, but they're worthless, really. Gold records are pretty good, but I haven't got any of those. Bob has, and I think Mark Stanway definitely has. I gave those away as well. But never mind.
Oh, now is there anything else then in the vaults with Magnum that you think should be released, or would you say most has come out really in terms of? Yeah.
I would say, yeah.
Apart from all these songs that are stacked up in your hard drive,
yeah.
you know.
That's stuff that people haven't heard.
Yes.
I think everything's come out. Well, I say that, and then something pops up, doesn't it?
Yes.
But we don't seem to have any say in the matter on all that early stuff.
Yes. Yes, there have been so many different permutations, haven't there, over the years, and collections and compilations. And I should mention to listeners that the Digipack edition, I think it is, has a bonus DVD this time.
Right.
And that has interview material and also archive footage from two interesting gigs, actually, Tony. Well, one was in the mid-'80s. I think you were playing Storyteller's Night, and that was Camden Palace.
Oh, that's right.
And Birmingham Town Hall, a gig I actually went to in 1992.
Yeah, really?
Well, that was brilliant. I think that's when you were really promoting Sleepwalking.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't remember that, being an old person. But I'll tell you what's on it that's good. This guy called Richard Mason sent me a copy when VHS was sort of the rage of... He put together all this First World War footage of... put it together for a Remembrance Day service at his school.
Right.
And he sent it me along, and the track was Le Mort Dansant.
Ah.
That was the soundtrack, and it's absolutely brilliant. And this was like some time ago, obviously, VHS and all that. And then about sort of like, I don't know, 9 months ago, I get this copy of a DVD through the post, and it's Le Mort Dansant with this. I put it in, and you wrote me a letter saying that I've got a much better copy now, and I thought I'd send it to you. And it's great. It really pulls at your heartstrings, I tell you. This is on the DVD.
Just a final question, Tony, then. Is there anything else you want to achieve with Magnum or in music generally? A solo acoustic album?
No, I just want to really continue doing what I'm doing, really.
Yes.
It's really quite a luxury, I think, that I feel like I'm being allowed to write what I want, and without being interfered with, basically. I'm just putting it bluntly.
Yes, I understand.
And I think that's great that the record company have a certain amount of confidence. I mean, of course, we don't sell millions of records. I think just to continue. And I'd like more people to hear our records.
And that in itself's a nice challenge, isn't it, to convert new listeners, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's hear another track from Into the Valley of the Moonking, and it's going to be Time to Cross That River, another of my favourites, Tony. I'm sure people will be telling you their own personal favourites, but it's definitely an album to get into, and I think all credit for that, because it's not an instant fix, and I think you find that with the best albums, you can go back to them. And I find that actually with Princess Alice as well.
Yeah, I mean, I truly believe that's the case. What you're saying, I agree with. Because if it's... You do need something to... I wouldn't say challenge your listening, but when you go back you hear something that you didn't hear before.
Yes, that's right.
Every time you go back, you go, I didn't notice that bit, or whatever it might be. I mean, I get it with books, like I always got it with the Sherlock Holmes books. I'd be, Conan Doyle thing is like, you'd be reading it, and then you read it, and 9 months later, and you forget what you've read, and because it's such a great story,
That's right. No, I think I know exactly what you mean. Well, look, all the best, Tony, with this new album, and it must seem an age away, that tour in the autumn, but it'll soon come round, won't it?
Yes, it will.
A chance to crank out the guitar again and have a good time on stage. So we wish you all the best with just keep writing those songs, because the quality standard is amazing actually through the years, and you obviously exercise your own discretion, but I think listeners and fans will probably think there are loads of undiscovered songs that need to be let out, unleashed. Maybe that's something that will happen in the future as well. Thanks, Tony. Thanks for your time, and nice to talk to you again.
Thank you, Dave.